Citizen Television.
And welcome to another thrilling and exciting episode of the Planetary Persuader. I am KozMcKev, your host, and this is for the weekend beginning Friday, the 11th of June, 2021. Okay, so what we're looking at today, looks like we have a moon in Gemini, possibly going into Cancer. Yes, it is in Cancer in Western astrology, but if you want to see it, it's in the constellation of Gemini, and yesterday's eclipse was actually in the constellation of Taurus, and it just moved. Well, the sun's still in sidereal Taurus, but the moon is in sidereal Gemini, so it's in, and I'd say probably in the lunar mansion, known as Ardra. And Ardra is ruled by this ruling deity named Rudra, who they say is a guise of Shiva, and Rudra is the wind god. Okay, so like the wind god is, it creates storms. Now Ardra means green or moist. Let's realize that when the sun is in the sidereal zodiac Gemini around the 15th of June, 16th of June, till about the 16th, through the 16th of July, or at least till the 16th of July, something like that. And in that place is when monsoon season hits in India. And so this Rudra being a storm god deity, it's not like a complete mistake. Now, typhoons cause an immense amount of destruction. And as resilient as the East Indian people were, the Hindi, the Bharata people, they had to deal with the heartache. People could have a tree fall on them, a coconut could whack them on the head or something, they could die, a structure falling, people drowning, sudden flash floods. And so we associate Ardra with whaling. It's ruled by the North Node, so it's ruled by Rahu. And yet it's all encompassed within the sign of Gemini, which is an air sign seeking the holy marriage, seeking Kama. And just how much emotional storms. If we never had any upset, we would never be able to appreciate the good times. And Ardra is making the ground moist again. It's our tears and our emotions that make the land and life fertile. And its symbol is a head or a jewel. So there's this incredible desire, Rahu gives desires, and Mercury wants knowledge. Mercury also wants money. So there's all of these different things going, but things are destroyed. And Ardra has a really good relationship with its opposite, who's ruled by Naritri, and she's like the storm, she's like a calamity goddess, sort of. And yet both of these nakshatras, Ardra in particular, can have a very saintly quality in spite of all this upset, and people with Mula moon or risings, they get these people. It's like, oh yeah, and they make really good friends, these opposites, and they both exhibit high spiritual qualities. So this is something to just consider. And then, that was sort of a long explanation of Rudra. but and Ardra, rather, and but we just got through this solar eclipse, so we're still feeling kind of whacked. We've got Mercury retrograde, and just moved into the constellation of Taurus, and it's out of Gemini. It's in Western Gemini, though, in the Western astrology. So in Western astrology, we're going to do your sun sign forecast, which is the tropical zodiac, which is not related to constellations, but just related to the time of year, and that's what most Western people follow. Okay. But, yeah, it's important to learn the roots. Okay, so we are, we're in this new place, and one thing we talk about that I've learned, though, from my sidereal Vedic studies is there's a thing when planets are hemming in your rising sign. So for Aries, first of all, it's like there's this Uranian and Jupiter Neptune is hemming you in. So it's all about like possibilities, in your life. And you're like, God, am I spiritual enough? Am I thinking about inspiring things? Am I able to communicate something that sounds genius? And yet we're isolated without a spiritual life. I mean, it wouldn't be so much of a hem in. And so, you're trying to move forward. Now, Mars in Western astrology moves into Leo this week. And that happened this morning at 6:34 a.m. So Friday the 11th. Mars now in Leo. It's very, even in Western astrology, it's considered a good placement, a lot better than Cancer. And so, because Sun and Mars are like really good friends. And so that's going to make things happen. All right. Let's go to Taurus. So Taurus, you're the one who's been dealing with Uranus in the first house this whole time. And let's see, where are we at with this? I mean, Uranus is, it's about 12 degrees, getting, this 13 this week. So, 13 degrees Taurus, there's this feeling, if you have anything 13 degrees in a fixed sign, you could say Uranus is affecting you right now. And the fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And, these are actually very willful signs where we see a lot of leadership and change coming from them. And for you right now, you're thinking in more unconventional terms. And so that's an important thing to take a look at. But it's like everything's more focused on the self. This is like a self. All these planets or grahas are more in the houses that affect your personal space. First house, second house, third house, fourth house. And so, doing the inner work, taking care of the neighborhood, things at home, that's always important. All right. Greetings, Gemini. And it's like, how much has gone on in your life, and how I'm using that. One of the things is like when, on the 22nd, when Mercury goes direct, it's going to be stationed around 16 degrees Gemini. So we could say, what is at 16 degrees or near that in any of the mutable signs in your chart? Look at that. There you're going to find, Sagittarius, Gemini, Virgo, Pisces. You're going to find things are affecting people who have planets in these signs. And yeah, if you have your sun in that sign, of course, naturally it will probably affect you somewhat. But it depends. So, we've got the moon in your second house with Venus. So, there's this love of food, or right now this weekend, it's like a foodie weekend. And Mars is a good placement in the third house in Leo for you because it's a karaka. It helps you have courage. So you can meet people and even in really loving, kind ways, try to get know neighbors that you probably wouldn't want to relate to necessarily, but getting to the root of what it is that bothers you about them, and having compassion for what they might possibly be going through that's hurt their ability to bring their best self forward. Greetings, Cancer, and welcome to your horoscope. Well, I mean, anytime we've got a sun transiting the 12th house, so 12th house is it can be a time of loss. It can be a time of isolation. And it's a time when you kind of need more sleep. And a time where, like, going out in a wilderness area or a spiritual retreat, those are amazing remedies, so that can't be overlooked. It's a good time, but it's sort of like you're finishing up the stuff that's happened last year. And you're getting ready for that incredible summer solstice on Father's Day, and which is, super appropriate, I suppose. And bringing it, you're going to bring something really good to the table this week. The moon is sattvic in nature. It tends to be nourishing, non-judgmental. It's a little bit fickle-minded. Venus is very passionate, wants love, wants to be creative. And I think, if you were in like a dry spell, creatively speaking, this is like a perfect time to revive that and move forward. And, don't try not to, be kind, because people have been isolated, and it's really weird now that, this week the lockdown supposedly is going to end, and or restrictions, or whatever you want to call it. I call it economic opportunism at such a cost. Well, there was a real virus too at the same time, but it was able to overshadow some of the more nefarious activities, I suppose. And but I'm glad if you're feeling safe wherever you're at, whether you're inoculated and indoctrinated, or you're unindoctrinated and uninoculated, it's all good. Everybody's got the right to have their own destiny, and hopefully, whatever it is, either way, you're feeling healthy and good, and you feel good about your decision. We've got, for Leo, greetings Leo, we've got Mars in the first house now, leading a charge. And I want to say, anything said on this show is not sound medical advice. You really need to go to a doctor to know these things, especially legally in the medical system. They have like agency and stuff, so. Yeah, and there are mixed, not all doctors see everything the same way, so, and you have a right to pursue the one that feels right for you. Okay, so, Leo, the moon is going to be in Leo on late Sunday morning. So late Sunday morning, we've got a moon in Leo, we've got summer solstice, longest day of the year, it's Father's Day. And if you're a Leo father, this is probably going to be your most blowout weekend ever. And, to people of other genders that ended up kind of like fathering children because of lack of a real one they're in too, hats off to you too, in what might be, which is an art that is, I believe, reviving. It's getting revived, the art of fathering. And as far as what we're seeing for you, it's like a lot of responsibility. Everything's in the upside of the chart, and it's affecting your social life, your career, your deeper relationships. Like your spouse may have some money, or maybe having some health issues at the same time, but also very psychically sensitive spiritual space arising. And some serious relationship stuff. Okay, well, here we go with Virgo. Greetings, Virgo, and welcome to your horoscope. So it's like, this is also a time where you're kind of having more relationships with other people. And it's like it brings a nicer touch to your love life. And Uranus in the ninth house is unpredictable things sometimes while traveling. And let's remember Mercury's retrograde too right now. So it's like, this is sort of like, oh, wait a second. If you're taking a trip, you might want to add a couple of extra hours and just think, I might need to take a different route, and just kind of think in those kind of terms right now, because this is, it's a little unusual here. And, but I do see, kind of a transformation of your heart, how you look at things. You're trying to be a better worker, more consistent in business, and realizing there's challenges and that sometimes not everybody likes you, and that's okay. Can't be liked by everybody. Relationship-wise, you're doing good, and you're talented, and you've got you've got mostly, putting your best foot forward, your best works out this week. That's what's going to be rewarding. There will be a moon in Virgo on Tuesday evening, Wednesday, and Thursday. So Wednesday night through, Tuesday night rather through Thursday. Tuesday, especially Wednesday. That's like a real power day for you. So I would be rocking that. Rocking the green on Wednesday. And Libra, welcome to your horoscope. So as far as like the Venus stuff, it's like Venus in Cancer. It's like you're really deep within your feelings right now, and so this is sort of more like this real sensitive, introspective time, and in just like another week and a half, you'll be totally busting out. In some ways, but right now, you're in that place, and you have a lot of creative thoughts, and you've got a lot of opportunities to work, and maybe things aren't always organized at your workplace, or things are expanding or growing, so there's all this adjustment, so there's something to consider there. And, well, we have it. We have it. Sun and North Node with Mercury in the ninth house. So it's a good time for travel. Like I said to Virgo, it's like, there might be detours. It is Mercury retrograde, and that is, which means actually getting deeper in your studies, getting deeper in your learning. That's how it's going to work. Uh-huh. And you're always looking good. So anyhow, greetings Scorpio. Welcome to your horoscope. Okay. So what we desire and what we create. Since those are the key phrases for Scorpio, I imagine that's like the thing to consider right now. So Mars moving into Leo. So Mars moving into midheaven for Scorpio. So that means you're going to do better in career at work. Like actually your activities and your hard work ethic, it's going to get taken. There's going to be people taking notice, and that's going to help. Everything's going to be elevated, and even though like Mercury retrograde, a lot of things are in change right now. Like they're not in your power because it's in the 8th house. Your spouse might be doing good. They might be more, and you're just kind of like, okay, I've got to keep this the chillest I can in order to get through this. Capricorn, Pluto, still transiting your 3rd house, but getting in more to your inner space, closer and closer. There'll be this point where you might consider moving, changing residences, and may end up moving some other place. There's a possibility you may even go abroad. We'll see what happens. This is a very it's a challenging period, and but I think overall, it's things are going to improve, and just focus on your spiritual life. And yeah, I mean, sex, death, other people's property, occult studies, all these things are on your mind right now. Like they never aren't. Greetings, Sagittarius. Welcome to your horoscope. So, for Sagittarius, I mean, we'll think about this Jupiter Neptune in your fourth house. It's like giving the love to your mother, giving the love to your ancestors, giving the love to everyone within your tribe. People like you, they may be friends that you feel like are family to you. And I feel like it's important to continually, as we evolve as people, adopt new people in your life. Learn to be a good listener. And relationship time for you. But there's Mercury retrograde. It's like, God, this is not the time to get married or, make a contract. That would be my first thing of advice. I mean, if you do buy technology or something, there's a chance there's gonna be this back and forth before anything gets really settled in or ratified. So it's just sort of like, just take your time. Good things are about to happen, and I don't think you need to worry. Let's see here. Okay. We're going to Capricorn. Hey, greetings, Capricorn. Welcome to your horoscope. Aftermath of the new moon in Gemini. I mean, this could have affected your stomach. You might have felt like a little bit ill after the eclipse or something. This could have just like been that night where you drank too much, or you felt just, you weren't in your happy space necessarily. I mean, and you've had Saturn's in the second house, so I mean, you might be in therapy, going over past childhood traumas, and yeah, there's kind of this sense of hope. Like your neighbors and friends are feeling more hopeful with the whole Jupiter-Neptune thing, and Mars moving into Leo. It's kind of like maybe a little less conflict in relationship, but just sort of like, how do I reclaim my own backbone about the things I believe in and what I've been through, what my karma is teaching me. That's a lot. Well, greetings, Aquarius, and welcome to your horoscope. So, Saturn's in the first house. It's like, boy, that makes life so much more serious. It's like this whole maturing process, this process where you might feel restricted, depressed, embarrassed. I embarrass myself all the time, and I call this kind of like part astrology, part comedy, really. I don't want anybody ever to take this type of thing too seriously. But with that said, Aquarius is going to move forward in their own way. I mean, this is a time where you're going to have to work hard, but it's also a time where you're going to have fun. You can't help yourself. I mean, Gemini time opens up your heart. It makes you want to be generous. It makes you want to be creative. It makes you want to play with your children. It makes you want to learn things that you want to learn for the fun of it. And makes you a better entertainer, better teacher, all that kind of good stuff. I highly recommend it. Okay. Now we are in the juxtaposition for Pisces. Pisces. So you've got the Neptune-Jupiter thing in your sign in the first house. I mean, could it ever be more perfect? Well, yeah. Well, of course, we're all feeling the Saturn-ruled sign restriction period of Capricorn and Aquarius. Now in Aquarius, that's your 12th house, which actually isn't a bad place for Saturn. Saturn's is actually, even if you're suffering right now, he's just helping you clean out your karma. That's what's going on, Pisces. Saturn's just saying, we're going to clean out your karma for a little bit here. And something good, something better is about to happen that is going to help you move your life forward in a way you never thought you could. Um, there's a focus on your inner life right now. But, by next week you're going to be breaking out. Sun will be in your fifth house. I mean, it's just going to be like, what? Let it rain, kind of feeling. So, yeah. And, Mercury retrograde means Mercury's slowing down. It's closer to Earth, and so. And I mean, this is like a time where you're dealing probably with a lot of assets. So, like, money can move back and forth really quickly during this time. And so, you got to be really careful in that area if that's what you're operating with. But overall, I see pleasant things happening in spite of you know potential strictness, and we can be thankful there's a lot of good people out there that are demonstrating courage, and I'm hoping you're one of those people too. It's KozMcKev with the Cosmic Forecast. Planetary Persuader signing out.